Hey there, it's Sunday morning, and I just released the video on making the footrest for this chair that I'm sitting in right now. My last video on this channel was right after building this chair, and I talked about the chair a little bit. And in that video, I said that one of the things that I would change is the back, the cushions on the back. I thought they were too stiff. Well, I've since had a lot more sitting time in the chair, and I was wrong. The backrest cushions are fine. They're perfect, actually. The problem is when you're sitting in one of those chairs, excuse me, those chairs made with polyfill on the inside. You know, they're way softer than really what you want, okay? And the other thing is that they kind of mold to you as you sit on them. And so when you sit on something a little bit firmer, like this is, it just feels wrong. Well, I'm here to say that it feels right today. And I'm totally happy with the cushions on the back. The footrest mechanism, I started thinking about that, like I said in that build video, when I was building the chair. I was thinking about how I could add a footrest to it. Now, originally I was thinking about the kind of thing you see in Adirondack chairs where you pull it out and you know, the legs flip down, that type of thing. And I said to myself, that's kind of common and I can't get a video out of that. So I thought I would come up with something a little bit trickier. And my original thought was to use cables rather than gears. The cables and wheels, okay? As the thing would roll out, driven by a hand wheel. Actually, the first driving mechanism was going to be a linear actuator. And I had one picked out on Amazon to buy. Except they said, what do you want, a cord running to the chair, something you got to plug in all the time? And then, you know, wiring to set up and all that. So I said it'd be neater if it was mechanical, fully mechanical. So I was thinking about cables, you know, like a piece of aircraft cable that wraps around a spool, and that would make the thing rotate up the way this thing does. But then I said I can do the same thing with gears, and I can 3D print the gears. And that was the tipping point in the whole project, actually, the ability to 3D print the gears. Because if I had to make those gears by hand, like cutting them out on the bandsaw, very much like I did with the gear linked vise that I have out in my shop, that's currently on the drill press. If I had to do it that way, it was not going to get done, because the reason why is that, okay, a gear link vise is an easy thing. You got these gears, they're all the same size, they all work, it's all very straightforward. But where you've got a complex motion like I've got going on here with this footrest mechanism, and the fact that it all has to fit underneath this chair as well, and then fold in neatly after you're done with it, that really complicates the equation. So 3D printing the gears, I think there are 11 on each side, and I wound up printing, I don't know, 20 to try. And that doesn't include the initial design and mock-up that I printed at 50% as well, just to try it and see if it was going to work. If I had to do, like I said, if I had to do all that by hand with plywood or whatever, it wouldn't have got done. I wouldn't have started, because it would have taken too long to figure it all out. There's, you know, where that goes, like something complex like this goes, there's two ways to go about designing it. There's the smart way, which spends a lot of time in CAD, actually drawing out and figuring everything out. And then there's my way, which is do it that halfway and then dive into making the parts. Because I like to see the actual parts happening. even if they're 50% size, then I can see what's going on. Because gears turning, one turns this way, the next one turns opposite, and so on and so forth. That kind of gets screwed up in your head a little bit. When I was younger, I could keep track of it a lot better than I can now, but now it's like, I don't know. I got more important things to worry about. So that kind of slips through. It gets in between the teeth and the gears inside my head. Gets chewed up and spit out and forgotten. Anyway, so yeah, it works well. Like I said in the video, my intention in the long run is to replace the gears with ones made from wood or possibly made from aluminum. That's another material that I could use. I could go and buy a sheet of, 1/4-inch aluminum or even 3/8 inch aluminum, which would be way overkill for something like this because these gears are actually strong enough. Okay. The only issue that I have with them is they've got a little bit more flex. I used PETG to print them because I had a fresh roll and I thought it would be better than ABS. But I think in the long run, maybe glass fiber reinforced PLA might be the best material to print these with. Either that or polycarbonate or one of the more advanced, really hard materials. But then you're looking at money, okay? As it was now, I used a roll of PETG, and a roll of PETG is $20. So $20, I got all these gears made. I don't even know if I could make that cheap from plywood, not including all the time it would take to cut them out. Now, the replacement gears, I was going to do them on the CNC. I was going to make the hub of the gear from, like I was thinking about this. I could make the hub of the gear from Baltic birch plywood, and I would cut notches in it all the way around where a tooth is. And then I would make white oak gear teeth that would glue into those, gear teeth blanks, I should say. So I'd mill the hub, which would have all those notches around the perimeter, and then I would glue in the individual teeth, 18 teeth per large gear here. And then I would let that dry, of course, and then I would put it back in the CNC machine to cut out around the gear. So it would cut the teeth. I was going to try that, see how it goes. The other possibility was I bought a cheap laser. I've had emails by the billion offering lasers from Creality and all these other places. I bought a cheap one, very much like I did with the 3D printer. I bought the original 3D printer, and what I printed most of these gears with is that P1P, and I bought that with my own money. Bamboo contacted me afterwards and sent me out an X1C, but I still use that P1P for most of the stuff I do. Anyway, so I bought this cheap laser to try out, and I was thinking that, okay, that'll cut veneer. What if you cut a bunch of sheets of thicker veneer, like a 1/16 of an inch thick, and then glue them together so that the grains so you make your own plywood, except made from veneer, right? Thin veneer, say 6 or 7 layers. So you wind up with something that's about 3/8 of an inch thick, same thickness as the gears that I got in here. So that was another possibility I was looking at, okay? But like I say, the intention, now that I have the geometry and all the mechanism and everything worked out, I can take my time and I can replace the parts. I can make one, finish it, install it, and it would be 100% compatible with the ones I have here, because I would use the same, like to machine them on the CNC, I would use the same model that I used to 3D print. They would wind up being exactly the same. I started editing the video on Thursday and spent most of Friday on it, and then yesterday morning, I finished it, just before lunch. Now, also, while I did that, I redid the armrests on the chair because I wasn't happy, and I mentioned this in my last Scrap-In channel video, I wasn't happy with how they turned out because I kind of rushed them. what I did was I made them a bit smaller because I thought they were too big, too clunky looking. And also they were sticking in a bit too far. So I moved them out. I made them an inch smaller in the width and about 2 inches shorter in length. I also did a better job with the upholstery. I made the upholstery in the same way that I did the back cushions and the seat, with the like a platform thing with a border around. So it looks a lot neater. I also painted, like I also mentioned this, painted the trim plate underneath, and that's so I could get a cleaner looking photo for the thumbnail for the video, which may work. I don't know. That's the thing about, you spend a lot of time working on a project and you spend a lot of time editing the video, and it might get 50, 60,000 views. And I don't know, that sounds a lot to somebody that's just starting out or whatever, or been doing it for 2 or 3 years even. But it doesn't, like, it's not cost effective. It's not an effective way to use my time. But very much like the chair, I had to do, well, I didn't have to do it, but I wanted to do the footrest, so I thought I would make the video as well. But it was quite a lot of work to do that on top of it, the video. So I've been thinking about build videos for this year coming up, and I don't know that I'm going to be doing anything as complex as this ever again, actually, unless it's something that I really, like, I'm really interested in. Because, like I say, if you put, like, my most watched video on my main channel is that can paper cut wood video. And it's got, I think at this point, it's got like 12 million views. And it took me an afternoon to make that video, to film it, to do the action in the video, and to edit it. It was all done. Like on a Saturday afternoon, it was done. Sunday morning, it was out. I don't know for sure how many videos I put out on my main channel this year. I think it was around 10, which is like, I would sometimes put that out in the span of 2 months, 10 videos in 2 months. Now, they weren't very good videos, or, they didn't get very many views, but, when you're starting to do this, like I was 12, 13 years ago, you're all gung-ho, and it's a novelty thing, and you're eager to get going at it, and you're learning new things, and it's all very interesting. But now it's reached the point of ho-hum, it's just, I already know how to do all the stuff that I want to do, and there's no challenges really, except for a really complex mechanism like is in this chair. So, I don't know, thinking about the videos that I could be putting on my main channel going forward, looking around YouTube at the stuff that's doing well. I mean, you could rename, at this point, YouTube Politics Tube or Tabloid Tube, or the other one is React Tube, because, I watched, one of the very first videos I watched on YouTube was a cooking video. All right. And I've been watching cooking videos all the time. I'm very interested in cooking. All right. So I watch a lot of cooking videos. I watched one the other day, and it turned out to be a reaction video. And I went and I looked at the guy's channel, and that was like 99% of what he does is react to other people cooking. And he's getting massive views. It's like 300, 400,000 views on a video where he's just sitting there talking about somebody else's cooking video. So I said to myself, I should do that for woodworking. And I'm amazed that no one else is doing that. Or maybe they are. I don't know for certain if anybody is. But yeah, that would be a way to cash in right there, man. Make reaction videos to the woodworking videos that are out there. All the river table stuff and all that. Or, crazy mechanisms like that there. You can roll your eyes and make fun. And this kind of thing that all the people love these days. Mocking people and putting people down. They love it. They love it. So maybe the way to go is to start putting out reaction videos that have a political leaning and have a little bit of innuendo thrown in, to satisfy all 3 segments of the YouTube populace, the tabloid, the